From LALATE News Headquarters in Santa Monica, this is Mornings LALATE.
It's a big morning of Mornings LALATE as that fourth stimulus check, that monthly stimulus check that could run from July to December, that could be the biggest checks and payouts you've ever seen on this channel, are heading to the finish line. Those four stimulus checks got the major push you wanted last week. And on Friday, it got an even bigger push. I'll have all that details in this video. Meantime, third stimulus checks are landing today. If you've not gotten a third stimulus check, and SSI increases are coming in September. In the fifth stimulus, I have all the breaking details. Meantime, today, one of the most anticipated business grants we've been waiting for several weeks finally goes live. We're just a few hours away from that exciting developing details. And in less than 24 hours from now, this channel turns 1 year old. It's a big morning of Mornings LA. It's early mornings, the toast is toasted, the butter is buttering. I'm so excited you are here. Let's get to the big exciting news. Additionally, student loan debt forgiveness, the big developing details about what's going on with the wealth tax, and also the exciting details about what went on with that capital gains tax confusion yesterday. This is Early Mornings LALATE. Good morning, everybody. The toast is toast and the butter is butter, and I'm here, you're here, and it's a big early mornings broadcast. I'm so excited you have joined me on a Saturday morning. It's going to be a great weekend. Hope you are wonderful and safe. In this recording, we're going to go over the big developing details about those monthly fourth stimulus checks, that incredible increase to your SSI and SSDI benefits under fifth stimulus this fall, the big developing details about third stimulus checks for unpaid people coming today, and the exciting details of just a few hours from now, the business grant that people have been waiting for about to go live. Also, student loan debt forgiveness and other items covered in this video. Away we go. If you've not subscribed, make sure you subscribe. Also, like this video. And if you've not become a member, consider becoming a member. The link's at the top of the chat and also in the pinned comment. Let's get to the breaking details. First, that third stimulus check that you may not have gotten so far, congratulations, is going out. Wave 6 of the third stimulus check of $1,400 was confirmed by IRS on Thursday, and that could be landing in your direct deposit as early as today, but the rest of you next Wednesday, and the mail checks are still coming. All right, let's go to the fourth stimulus. Wow. Great news about fourth stimulus. It's now heading to the finish line because of a series of 4 major developing details on Friday, yesterday, less than 24 hours ago, that signals we're going to the door. Let me explain to you what happened. First, we had a major series of economic details that came in from Wall Street that signaled the economy is recovering, but not at a growth rate faster than anticipated, meaning that this economy will be recovered in December, not the summer, meaning you need stimulus checks now. Second, that the Republican counterproposal was not something the president would do, meaning that we're not going to bipartisanship, we're going to recon, which gives you stimulus checks. Number 3, that insiders now say that the Federal Reserve next week will continue to support this economy because it still needs that support. And finally, all the 2 major economic data that the White House depends upon for giving stimulus are still in place. Long-term unemployment numbers are still there, and continuing unemployment claims and missing jobs are still there. With that, let's get to all the details, how much you're going to get for the checks, when you're going to get the checks, how you're going to get the checks, who gets the checks, and more. First, these stimulus checks would be the single biggest payout you've ever seen for this channel, and these checks will be part of a reconciliation process of the fourth stimulus package. Both the House Democrats and the Senate Democrats want to give it to you on a monthly basis, but they slightly differ. The House members want to give you a stimulus check every month for the pandemic plus 1 year. So the pandemic lasts for 6 more months. They want to give it to you for 18 months. senators want to give you stimulus checks from July to December. And then who's behind this? Well, the senators are elder statesmen. They are the movers and shakers of the Democratic Party. The House members are junior statesmen, and they are generally progressives. And then who, how much, and when? Well, the senators want to give you an unknown amount on a monthly basis. The House members want to give you $1,000 after the first month. But while we don't know the exact amount from the senators, word on the street is this is what it looks like. The senators reportedly want to give you $2,000 a month between July and December. This would be 6 months of $2,000 or $12,000 per person, or $1,400 a month per person over 6 months, which is $8,400. Yes, $2,000 or $1,400 over 6 months. Who gets this? You do. If you got third stimulus check, you do. If you makes less than $75,000, you get this. If you're a married couple, make $150,000 or less, you get this times 2. If you're a household of 4 or less, you get this times 4. If you're on SSI or SSDI, Social Security or railroad benefits, this is you. Viewers have been asking me a series of questions, and even yesterday on Afternoons LA and Evenings LA, I saw in the live chat the same sort of questions. Even though I was answering that video, people were just sort of jumping in with questions before I said it. Where were we? 8 minutes into the video, they're like, "When? How soon? How's it gonna come? When's the first check?" Even though I always answered every question in every video, so let me cover that again in this video. When would be the first check? July. When would be the vote? July. In fact, Speakers Pelosi and Leader Schumer both say that the vote would be no later than July 4th. So the first check would be for the month of July. How soon could the first check go out? About 10 days after July 4th, so about July 14th approximately. How often? Every month until so be it. And how would we physically get the check? In 2020, Harris and Sanders proposed a debit card that would be sent to you and then replenished on a monthly basis. I think that's how they're going to do it. It's the cheapest way and it's the easiest way for them to get you the money. Again, it's not income. It's not a taxable event. It would not count towards your benefits at all. And it's singly the biggest payout you've ever seen for a single individual on this channel. Now, before you sit back and say, but in 2020, hold up. 2020 should not be your basis for gauging whether this is a lot or a little. Rather, what's happening in September should be the basis. And let me show you what's happening in September. While we're talking about for multiple stimulus checks, $8,000 to $12,000 for a person who's an adult, who is of adult age, this is what young children are being proposed to get in September. Under the fifth stimulus in September, the president's proposing to pay 17-year-olds to newborns $24,000 over 6 years. Yes, $24,000 over 6 years. So do not think your stimulus checks, multiple stimulus checks, is a lot of money compared to what else is going on this year. It's actually smaller than what's proposed for other people later this year. And there we go. Fourth stimulus happening with those amounts. Now, why was Friday a big day for getting this closer to the finish line? Number one, economic data. Number two, no lack of bipartisan support. And number three, the Federal Reserve. Let's start with number three. Next week, the Federal Reserve meets, and ahead of that meeting, insiders on Friday said the Federal Reserve is not going to change its policy about supporting this economy. And it's obvious that they wouldn't. Why? Because long-term unemployment numbers remain the same, 16 million people unemployed, and lack of jobs restored, 8 million are still missing. Very, very easy. So what was the second reason? The second reason was that this last week, we had worried that the unemployment numbers would rebound at the rate from the week before, or at least accelerate at a rate even faster. It didn't happen. Let me explain what happened. 2 weeks ago, we saw unemployment claims at 750,000 that week, and then we dropped to 500,000. The concern was if we dropped 250,000, are we going to drop another 250,000, or are we actually going to drop even faster? Well, this week we didn't drop 250,000. We stayed almost the same, meaning that the growth rate of recovery did not change. and that the recovery of this country will still be in December, not in the summer. Very, very easy to comprehend. That basically, when the recovery of this economy is in December, you need stimulus checks in the summer. Had the recovery sped up, had the economic data showed we were speeding up, then there would have been some concern. Not a concern. And here are two other data that came out on Friday, that there's new indications that there's chip shortages, superconductor chip shortages, and that there's inventory shortage. A lot of inventory stuck at ports and in shipping that's causing a lot of backlog that could slow the recovery across the board. And then finally, the big detail that came in on Friday and throughout the week was that the president was not going to get bipartisan support. The Republicans 3 weeks ago, when they first heard about the fourth stimulus package, said that they were not going to do what the president wanted. At that time, this is what the Republicans said. They were not going to do the $2 trillion. They were going to remove the climate completely from the bill, and they were going to do $600 to $800 billion compared to the president's $2 trillion. Well, instead of $600 to $800 billion, this is how the week ended. The president, after over 7 days of negotiations with them, actually had them move back and get into a lower number. So the Republicans actually retreated into a lower number, into the $500 billion range. So with that, we go to recon. And recon is what's going to get those stimulus checks. Finally, another add-on of why recon is going to happen is this data that came out late in the week. The president reportedly in September is going to do the fifth stimulus package, and it will be $1 trillion. With that graphic, $2 trillion already law, $3 trillion by July for fourth stimulus, your reoccurring stimulus checks, and fifth stimulus this fall for that SSI reform. The president wants to spend $6 trillion. He's not going to get any Republican support to get $6 trillion spent in 9 months of his first term in office. That will only go by recon. And with that came big, exciting news this week. It was the news that we've been waiting for a very long time. SSI reform. Wow. First, let me tell you what it is, and then I'm going to go over the specifics. The SSI reform will raise your benefits, will keep your benefits at a higher level than it is now, then increase your benefits annually tied to inflation, which could be 1% to 4% increase annually. It'll never get smaller. Remove the asset cap, allow you to hold more assets on hand. Also remove the income cap, and finally get rid of the marriage penalty. It's just incredible, great news. So let's get to the detail of this, and then I'm going to explain how much, when, where, what this all means. It's very simple. First, understand that SSI and SSDI was not a topic that people were discussing a year ago when this channel launched. Tomorrow is the 1 year anniversary of this channel. Can you imagine? And when I came on the scene, I had a couple hundred subscribers, not a couple 100,000 subscribers, a couple hundred subscribers. And I did a video about you, SSI, SSDI, Social Security, and Railroad benefits. No one was doing a video about you. And what happened? 3 million views. It's very rare, if ever, for anyone in the financial space on YouTube to go viral with a video. Financial videos don't go viral. They just don't. That went viral. And it was because no one was speaking to you. Well, we had watched what had happened on the campaign trail for Elizabeth Warren and then the president, and then the campaign and the transition papers. Then we saw what happened in January. And some people wondered what happened to SSI and SSDI. And then this. And then this. And then all the signatures and the details. This last week, we finally got the push. Those Democratic senators have said to the president that in the fifth stimulus, they're going to put in SSI reform. It'll involve benefits levels increasing, asset limits increasing, a new inflationary benchmark, a removal of the income exclusion, and the marriage penalty going bye-bye. Let me explain how much money and what that means to you. First, what they're going to do is take your benefits. Take all your benefits, and when I say you, I'm referring to everyone from SSI, SSDI, Social Security, Railroad benefits of veterans, and Social Security. Everyone together. Take your benefits and raise your monthly benefits to a big new number. Incredible great news. Now, I don't know your particular number, but everyone's number is going to be raised up to a big new number. That will be your new number. You will never be at the lower number. That's number one. Then your benefits will be tied to a new benchmark, and that benchmark will be inflation. Inflation grows in this country 1 to 4% per year. And so every December when you get your benefit statement from the federal government, it has been tied to COLA, and COLA doesn't move, and so your benefits from one year to the next look exactly the same. They don't change. That is going to end in this provision. They're going to tie your benefits to inflation. So as inflation goes up 2% per year, 3% per year, your benefits will also go up. You'll never see your benefits go down. But what's great about this is that inflation's always about 2 to 3% over the last 3-4 years. So your benefits will always go up 2 to 3% per year. And then it gets even better. If you want to work, you don't have to work, but if you want to work, great news, because they're going to throw away the income cap. The income cap said you could not work based upon a 1962 number. They're literally now working with a 1962 number. It has not been updated since 1962. They're going to throw it away and say, if you want to work, you can work. And they're going to give a very, very high cap, somewhere between $1,000 to $2,000 a month, $12,000, $24,000, and you can still keep that money and still stay on benefits. Then they're going to get rid of the asset cap. The asset cap had said something like $2,000 at most you can keep in the bank. They're going to throw that away so you can keep more money. And they're going to tie the asset cap and the income cap to a new benchmark, inflation as well. Finally, going to get rid of the marriage penalty. Incredible great news. To which you're going to ask me when, how will that work, and what's going to happen. Fifth stimulus starts in September. It will go by recon, like the fourth stimulus we're doing right now. And it's going to take 2 months again. So September, October, or September, October, November. So you'll see the first check benefit of this hitting in December. Incredible great news. I mean, you deserve this, and I'm really excited for you. And it's one of the provisions that's going to heat up this fall. And it's part of the fifth stimulus as we currently are underway now with a fourth stimulus. But coming up soon in this recording, the big other exciting great news about student loan debt forgiveness, the new grant about to go live in a few hours from now. Yes, in just a few hours from now. Can you imagine? And also what's happening with the wealth tax that could impact your SSI and SSDI, and other things across the board, including the confusion about that capital gains tax yesterday. And what did Bernie say? Yeah, what did Bernie say? I'll have all those details and more. But first, here's a little bit about the community page. If you need help getting rent, utilities, food, internet, the volunteers can help you. I'll be back in 60 seconds. If you want money right now, not 5 days from now, and not 5 weeks from now, then reach out to the community page. The volunteers can help you find that money for rent and utilities. That's at news.la.com/community. The community page features a series of volunteers who are viewers like you. They can help you find rent, utilities, SNAP, food benefits, mortgage assistance, and help you with eviction moratorium questions as well. Their Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram individuals reach out to them and indicate the city and state you're from, and they'll get back to you shortly. That's a community page. Volunteers working for you, viewers helping one another. Stay with LA for more. Join LALATE Daily for the excitement of the new LALATE live daily. The excitement starts on mornings LALATE at 9 a.m. Home LALATE returns at 11 a.m. daily. And then afternoons LALATE at 1 p.m. Join us daily as the excitement continues live from Santa Monica on LALATE. And the excitement continues on LALATE at mornings today at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Then we go into noon LALATE. 2 hours after that, it's an easy breezy schedule. 2 hours after each show is another show. That's noon LALATE. It's followed by afternoons LALATE. 2 hours after that. And then we go into our evening schedule. The second afternoon show at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, evenings LA at 8 p.m., and then LA Late Night. How are you? It's a big morning. The toast is toast and the butter is butter. And I'm here, you're here. And thank you for joining me on a big early mornings broadcast. If you've not subscribed, make sure you subscribe. We're trying to reach 400,000 subscribers. It's our 1 year anniversary tomorrow. Can you imagine? What a run it's been. Also, like this video. 3,000 likes. Share it. Post it on Facebook and Twitter and Instagram. And also consider becoming a member. The link's at the top of the chat and also in the pinned comment. Well, away we go. In a few hours from now, a major grant's about to go live. Yes. SBA.gov is about to go live today with the Shuttered Venue Grant. It's not just for venues. So go to SBA.gov to learn about the eligibility. You may qualify for it. It's going live, and it's like nothing I've seen ever in the history of this channel, where SBA tells you the day it's going to go live and even the minute. They usually just pop it and post it. But this is not Javita Light. This is not Javita Light. Meantime, the business grant of EIDL, the remainder of $10,000 is being paid out. If you were reapplied in February or responded in February, you may be stuck in a vortex. The $5,000 EIDL grant has not gone live. There is no business grant that's for new businesses under the third stimulus package. And then the PPP grant has been extended by executive order. The other big news this week included that $6,000 that Ronald Wyden wants to give you. It's for PUA people, because remember, PUA is going away in September. PUA, FPUC, and PEUC are going away in September, along with eviction moratorium and mortgage forbearance. Well, Ron Wyden is thinking out of the box, and I love it. He wants to provide $250 a week for 6 months if you are a PUA person anytime impacted. It's a lifetime program, and it'll be paid by the federal government. Again, that's for PUA people, $250 a week, up to 6 months going forward. Wow. Now, the President of the United States, under the fourth stimulus package, proposes to change corporate taxes. But Elizabeth Warren this coming week will be talking about a different type of tax. She will be talking about the wealth tax. It's really great news because the wealth tax will be a congressional hearing this coming week. That wealth tax is what she said while campaigning for president that would pay for SSI and SSDI $2,400. Wow. Now, it's a bill she's introduced to the Senate, and the chatter for that bill heats up this coming week as she has a congressional hearing about it. Meantime, what about the student loan debt forgiveness? Lord. The president had instructed his Education Secretary, Miguel Cardona, to prepare a memo about it and have that memo produced not this last Friday, but a week before. The Education Secretary is late in his forgiveness. It has forgotten his forgiveness letter. The forgiveness letter would detail whether the President of the United States can forgive student loan debt by executive order. He can. He can sign it by executive order. Obama did it. Trump did it. And hence, Biden can do it. But why has that memo not been produced? Well, the big news on Friday is that broadcast media started running my coverage of it, basically saying, where's the letter? Where's the letter? Yeah, I've been saying that every day, almost every hour. Where's the letter? A new poll this last week showed that of 500 congressional leaders asked, 64 responded, and the vast majority want to do it. Great news. So what is the other sort of strange news that hit this week? Yeah, it was from this guy. And it was from this guy. Okay, first let me talk about Bernie's thing, because it's so strange. I think you sort of need the strangest thing first. The strangest thing first. Bernie Sanders, of course, is one of your most vocal advocates for multiple stimulus checks of the fourth stimulus package. And his colleague in the House is also a very big advocate for that multiple stimulus checks. And here is that colleague, Jalapal. Yes, his colleague in the House is the other big advocate for the multiple stimulus checks. And this is what Jalapal wrote. $2,000 the first month, $1,000 thereafter. Okay, so you got who I'm referring to first. Bernie and Jalapal. They're the big poster childs for multiple stimulus checks. So what did they do on Friday? Something totally bizarre. Now, it's not about stimulus checks, But it doesn't look good that the person behind your stimulus checks is doing strange stuff that makes no sense. So what did he do? He took an old bill that no one wanted a few years ago and reintroduced it to the Senate. Mitt Romney did the same thing also last week, and his bill is not going to see the light of day either. As a member, you'll see a copy of it. It wants to cut your Social Security benefits. But what Bernie did on Friday was he introduced a bill that says if you don't make a lot of money, let's say you make $25,000 a year, but you had some Tesla shares and you sold them and you bought some and you sold them some. Well, he wants to tax all your buying and selling your Tesla shares, even though you don't make much money, and take that little bit of money that you have and give it to a person who has a kid, and that person makes $125,000 a year. Yeah, not particularly makes sense. Why are we helping pay people's kids' education when they make six-figure income per year? Not particularly clear. Now, understand, Elizabeth Warren's not about taxing people who make six figures a year. She's about taxing people who are billionaires and trillionaires. But Bernie Sanders wants to tax people who make $125,000. Wants to tax people who don't make a lot of money and give it to people who make six figures a year so that they can send their kids to college for free. Yeah, not particularly logical, and it's not going to see a light of day. But what I want you to understand is I don't like seeing things that make no sense come from the people who are sort of, front and center for SSI reform and multiple stimulus checks and everything that's good out there. Just do strange stuff after we get our stimulus checks, please. Then also this one you really need to know about because it was everywhere. This story hit, and I don't think I've seen a story hit during this presidency that spread like wildfire like this one. It starts with a C and ends with a gains. The capital gains story. Oh boy, that just hit like a brick. What happened? And what is this all about? It has everything to do with you. First, if you go on eBay, if you go to a swap meet and see a nice table, go and buy it, and then you sell it on eBay, you have to pay capital gains tax on that. Or you buy a car and then you sell it to your cousin and you make a $500 profit. You have to pay taxes on capital gains. So what does the president want to do? Well, currently the capital gains rate is 20%. It's been that way, for a while. The report on Thursday from Bloomberg News said the president wants to raise your capital gains tax. Oh, what? 22, 23? No, almost 50%. Oh, what? That was Wall Street's reaction. What? What are you talking about? Was that a typo? No, it's not a typo. He literally wanted to take it from 20% up to almost 50%. Yes. Wall Street literally was beside itself. Now, this has everything to do with you because let me explain what happened. It basically caused a lot of people to worry that they should sell things this year before Biden does this thing, which he's proposing to do next year. And with that, I had told you when I first heard it that it will cause the markets to sink and cause people and currency, like things like cryptocurrency, to tank, people to get out of securities, and people maybe just start liquidating things, selling things. And guess what happened? That's what happened. Wall Street took a big hit initially on it on Thursday. On Friday, Wall Street was flat. The press secretary was asked about this on Friday. She said, well, I don't usually comment about Wall Street, but we were up to date. No, we were not up on Friday. We went down severely on Thursday, and we did not go up on Friday. Wall Street was not happy about that. But here's what's important about it, is that Wall Street on Friday got a report from Goldman Sachs that came out and said, our analysts determined that the president will never be able to do this, and it was a foolish idea for him to do it, to even think about it. Okay, that is the part of the story that really concerns me because we're trying to get forced stimulus out the door, folks. We're trying to get forced stimulus out the door that has some corporate tax modification, may have some other taxes like inheritance tax that shouldn't be in there or other things. And suddenly we're hearing about the president trying to take people's taxes from 20 to 50% next year for capital gains. And then a follow-up story saying that it's never going to happen, that it was taking too big of a bite out of the pizza. Yeah, that's not good timing for this president. Keep it zipped up. Let's get four stimulus done, folks. Mr. President, let's get four stimulus done first. Then we go to fifth stimulus, and then next year, But the fact that the timing of that story coming out this week, and then Bernie's thing with his taxes, yeah, Wall Street was not excited. Cryptocurrency, $200 billion of cryptocurrency disappeared. Excuse me, 200 million of cryptocurrency disappeared on Friday as people got out of positions. Major cryptos like Ethereum tanked 12%, 20%. They were just falling like hotcakes because people were worried. And in fact, the follow-up story that said it's not going to happen, that didn't go viral. What did go viral was the original story that he wants to do this massive tax raise next year that'll hurt a lot of people. Meaning to say, bad timing. Bad timing. And, you know, we could have had Miguel Cardona's letter instead, and we could have been talking about that instead of talking about this. So that's what we have going into the new day. Not going to happen. Don't worry. Not going to happen. But it shows that the White House is being a little bit too aggressive in some of its thought processes, being not economically savvy. And then the reaction by the press secretary yesterday that it was much of nothing and that everyone should brush it off. That's not how things happen. What could happen next week? Many insiders believe, and I believe the same, is that middle America, the mom and pops, the small investor, the person who has a few shares of this or a few shares of that, or someone who buys and sells a car, so may still worry that that's going to happen next year and may start selling things this year. It's not something you want to have in the scope of news. It's just, it happened. So there we are. It's an early morning's broadcast. The toast is toast and the butter is buttering. And there's no tax on the butter. At least not till next year. You know, maybe there's coffee tax, you know, some tea tax, you know, isn't that what they did in England? The tea tax, the Boston Tea Party, yeah, whatever. Coming up is morning's LA at 12 noon. And then we go into noontime LA at 2 p.m. There will be a tax on our noontime show. So yeah, no. You'll be taxed if you, no, I'm just kidding. And then we go into afternoons LA. After that is afternoons LA at 6 p.m. followed by evenings LA and then LA late night. Overnight, LALATE had two big shows. Don't miss them. They're now archived on the channel. And with that, make sure you subscribe. Also, like this video. And if you've not become a member, consider becoming a member. Purple Hawk, Purple Power, or Calcino VIP. Stay informed, stay focused. Have a great morning. And stay here. Oh. It's one of those days. There we go. Don't you love when you echo? I just love when I echo. And stay echoing with LA Sports.